and welcome to another edition of Real Estate Ready. I'm your host, Jerrod Pickering, a real estate agent up here in the North Texas area. We have a very special episode today. I have with me here today Cathy Green. She is the broker at Major League Realty, and she's going to talk to us about a few different things today. Cathy, welcome today. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Happy to have you here today, and want to talk a little bit about Major League Realty, and we might as well just start with the name itself, because I know Major League Realty plays on multiple levels. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how it got started and how we came up with that name?
Okay, well, that's a great question. It's easy to answer because Major League Realty comes from two sources. My son's name is Major, and my husband was a baseball coach at Denton High School for about 30 years. And those two are, of course, my loves and everything. So when I wanted to do the company, I wanted to base it on something that wasn't just a name. And so anyway, Major League worked out perfectly. And also it kind of symbolizes to me the American dream of home ownership, baseball being the Americana sport, and then also, American dream of owning your own home. And so those coupled together made perfect sense to have Major League Realty.
That does make so much sense, and what a great story. Being an agent here myself, I always kind of look at it as we're playing with the major leagues and with a lot of big companies. Us being a smaller brokerage, but actually, why don't we talk about that as well? Because as we have potential buyers and sellers out here watching these videos and trying to learn more about us, they have a lot of choices.
Right.
If you get on Texas Real Estate Commission's website and you look up agents, there's thousands, even right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so, and working for names of brokerages that are known nationwide. So as a potential buyer or seller, why should they choose Major League?
Well, that is a good question. And sometimes as a real estate company, you have to identify what are your strengths. And one of the things that I found a long time ago, the strengths of just working with a local realtor, regardless of the name of their company, is you're working with someone that you trust, and you build that rapport between that person. Major League Realty has kind of interfaced itself into a group of people that really inspire great things. You and I are former educators. We have many educators that have worked for Major League Realty. So I think teachers are just some of the best people in the world. They have hearts, they have understanding, they're negotiators, they're listeners, they're counselors, they're everything. And so we're that same in real estate. And so when you pick Major League, you're picking a group of people that are going to look at you as a human being. And that is the most important thing, because real estate's stressful. It's the most wonderful thing, and it can be the worst thing in your life, depending on who you work with and how well it goes. And so Major League Realty, we spend a lot of time, I have spent a lot of years trying to perfect how do we get better. And it's really ironic because it's the same as it's always been. How do you treat people? Do they come in the door? Do you treat them with respect? It doesn't matter whether you're buying a $100,000 house, which is hard to buy now, or almost impossible. Well, a $200,000 house or $1 million house. It's someone's home. Mm-hmm. And, we sell a lot of raw land for people who want to do commercial businesses. So you have people coming in with lots of needs, but it goes back to the principle of that you treat people the way you want to be treated, with respect. And a lot of times, Major League Realty, I think one of our strongest points is that we're going to give you options and solutions. We're not going to shake our head like, oh, that's impossible, because I believe everything is possible. Dreams are a reason you have a dream. So you make them happen. And that's where my heart is, and that's where all of you guys' hearts are. And so we look at that person and go, how are we going to get this achieved? And so with reason and logic and resources, we're going to work to make that happen for you. It may not start off the way that, you came in the door, but by the end of it, between their dream and our options and solutions, we're going to put those together, and we're going to get something that's going to be good for them.
And you nailed it. As an agent, that doesn't have a whole lot of experience yet, as I was interviewing different brokerages, because when you're an agent, brokerages know that you're a student, and they all try to wine and dine you and talk to you about coming to work with them and things like that. And I was no different. And when I came and visited with you, I could just feel that difference. And we all know that this is a video series, and so there was preparation going into today's episode. And but I'm gonna tell you a story that you don't know yet, or you may not know.
Okay.
I'm gonna surprise you with this, and it just happened yesterday, actually, and it really, to me, tells the story of Major League. You had one of your agents come in yesterday and was all very excited because he had just executed on $1 million contract and was so excited. He said, "But I don't have any time to stick around. I've got to go show a $93,000 manufactured home to a person." He could have taken the rest of the day off, gone and celebrated a great contract, a great win, but he had a heart for other people, and he left straight from here after bringing that contract by to go show a home that was another hour south. A $93,000. So I guess you can find a $93,000 home.
Yes,
I guess if there's a few out there, but he did that, and I noticed that, and I was like, man, this is one of the reasons I love working here and working with you guys, because that is the heart that is this place. And so appreciate you instilling that into the various agents that work here, because it is important.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too. I've never recruited agents. Like a lot of major brokerages, they recruit numbers because the broker makes more money. And I've never wanted to be the person who sits at the top and makes money off the backs of everybody here. And so we keep it small, because one thing, I can manage the small better, and I can know, like, if you have a transaction going on or somebody else has one, I can know about these transactions. And so I can look, from my perspective, to see if there's anything that needs to be done, or I suggest, or, check on you and check on your clients. And so I think that makes us very unique, because most brokers, and I say this, and not as in a bad way, but just in reality, most brokers aren't in the office every day working with their agents and their clients. That's why people will say, well, let's, do y'all do training? I say, I do the training every week, because I feel like that the buck stops with me. And so if you're taught something wrong or incorrectly, it's my fault. It's not your fault. And so we're very hands-on. And when I say it's important that we do things right, we do things right because it matters. And you never go wrong with just doing things right.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to all of you guys. Whenever you come on board with Major League Realty, y'all, when you came, I was doing the same measuring you up like you were doing me. But, there's people that will never fit with us, because you can tell their motivations are different than Major League. Major League Realty, our principles are, God, family, and country. And I don't apologize for that. We'll never apologize for that. And anybody who knows me knows that that's who I am.
That's right.
And that's just who we'll always be. And so, with that being said, we're not perfect and we'll never be perfect, but we're gonna do the best that we can, and it's usually pretty good.
I agree. So as we talked a little bit about what Major League Realty is, before we go today, I want to make sure that we give some solid tips to our sellers and our buyers that are watching this, trying to figure out who we are and how we can help them. What are some different, just general tips? Because I know every family, each individual is different, and we try to customize what we talk to people about, on an individual basis. There's some general things that you would be telling the potential seller out there. What advice would you give them?
Well, one of the main things that I would say as a seller today in this market is, cash offers, beware. They're never going to be to the seller's advantage. They're always going to be below market value. There may be some benefits to accept it if you have some kind of distressful situation, divorce, illness, death, or something tragic that you just really need to walk away as fast as you can. The sellers need to realize when they take those offers, they're probably leaving money on the table in this current market. And so if they decide that they want to sell, even under distressed conditions, they need to give a non-cash offer opportunity to another company to at least tell them what they're giving up. And so even in the worst situations, even on a cash offer, it's going to be at least probably 2 weeks to close. And then a regular model, you can have 2 weeks to 1 month. So you may give up thousands of dollars for 2 weeks worth of time. And so then at least they know. So I would say be very careful as a seller not to take a cash offer out of desperation. Okay. The second thing I would say is when you're picking a realtor to represent your family's transaction, you make sure, first of all, personalities are hugely important because there are times that you're going to be nail biting together and you're just be like, why is this going on? I need help. So you want that agent that's going to understand that anxiety from your position. And so the personalities are definitely going to be important. But more importantly than that, are they going to do the job? And so I always say, if somebody comes in with a fancy presentation, that's good. Fancy presentations are great. But the number one thing you do is you call that realtor when they're not expecting a call and see if they answer your call. And if it becomes repetitive, then it either goes to their voicemail or they immediately send back a text message saying, sorry, I'll get back to you. You don't want that as your realtor. You want someone who understands that they are working for you, not for their own convenience, not for their own time. And I'll tell you that thing that's a pet peeve of mine. When you call a realtor, and God help none of ours are doing this, that they say that that I will call you back, tomorrow if it's after 5 p.m. To me, that is like, really? You stop at 5 p.m. We're realtors. We work 7 days a week. We work whenever our clients are calling us. And so those things, how do they handle their phone? Are they responsive? You need to have a person who is representing you and understands that you are paying them to work.
Exactly.
And then thirdly, once you've chosen that company and that realtor to work with, be careful when they come in because you have some people that are motivated by fast transactions rather than getting the most money for the seller because, everybody gets paid at closing. So if they come in and they go, you need to repaint your house, you need to redo all your floors. Those could be this case, but it could be that you might want to see what the market says because we are still in the seller's market. And so you don't want to give up money or time and effort because somebody wants your house to sell fast so they can earn their commission quicker, right? That makes no sense. And so one thing you'll find with Major League Realty, we're going to fight to get you the most money. And we also do that for the benefit of the neighborhood. When you undersell a house in a neighborhood, you're hurting your neighbors when they go sell their house because that becomes the market analysis for the appraisal. And so you're not just giving up money for your seller, you're also hurting a neighborhood. So if somebody's motivated by making a quick sale to get their commissions paid, they're not just hurting the seller, they're also hurting prospective people in that neighborhood. And that's just not right under any circumstances. So as a seller, make sure you team up with someone that you're comfortable with, that you can trust, and that has your best interest at heart, and also will answer their phone.
Sounds like solid advice to me. What about on the buyer side?
As far as the buyer, same thing. When you're a buyer, we talk all the time about multiple offers. When you're a buyer, again, personalities, because you need to like that person that you're working with on both sides. I tell you guys, if you're uncomfortable or you have, like a personality conflict, then you need to respectfully tell the buyers that they would be better off working with another agent because you want them to be happy. There's nothing worse to go look at 5 or 10 houses and you just really don't like your realtor or they don't really like you. So, again, it's about the relationship. So, but then as important as that is, you need to know what resources that your buyer's agent's going to provide. Can they give you names of good lenders that close deals? And again, lenders are as valuable to this transaction as the realtor is, because if a lender promises you the moon and they can't perform and you spent money on inspections and appraisals, you have wasted money. So you want a lender that will close the transaction. So we make referrals to lenders, don't get kickbacks from them. And a lot of real estate companies, they do get compensation for their referral business. We do not take that because we want to have an arm's length difference between all of those people because we want to say these are the best people and choose them because we know they're going to have your best interest at heart. So that realtor, so what options they have as far as a lender? Home inspectors, lots of good home inspectors, lots of bad ones. And so we recommend those home inspectors based on what we've seen them do over the years. And so they have a good track record. Some home inspectors will scare the heck out of you. You would never want to buy a house because you're like, wow, 30 pages of problem? I don't want this house. So then, you want to make sure you have someone that uses common sense and says, for the age and condition of this house, this is standard, but they want to disclose to you, even if it could be standard, but you still need to know if it's a problem, right?
Sure.
So you have a balance there with the home inspector. So as a buyer's agent, this person needs to come to their client with a bag of tools. Mm-hmm. And then also you want to know, are they a good negotiator? Now, a lot of people, think that negotiation is like, it's a seller's market. Let's just offer full price, or let's just go over. Could be the case that you have to, but a good buyer's agent is going to go and do the comps on that neighborhood, and they're going to see what is sold, how long did it take, was it multiple offers, and they're going to know the history of that house. And so instead of someone just like as a buyer's agent eager to get a contract written, they're like, yeah, let's offer full price, let's offer $10,000 more. You don't want that as your buyer's agent. You want someone to go, okay, I see you're willing to go with this, but you've hired me to get you the best deal on this house. So that buyer's agent has to know that there is a methodology that you can use. It's not just jump into the fire and let's get it. Let's make sure we're doing what's best for you. So at the end of the day, it's important that your buyer's agent understands that you can go full price, should you go full price. And often, because we're in this market pretty strongly, like if someone comes to me and asks me, I can usually answer over the phone, yeah, you need to do that, because time is important. You do not want a buyer's agent who wastes time. If they can't show you houses when you need to see houses, they're not your buyer's agent. And if they can't show your house, but they have somebody in their office that will show for them, then that's a good agent too. It's not just, that's the other thing I think about working with a small company is like, because you'll have somebody in our office, you'll go, hey, Cathy, I've got to get this house shown. I've got a conflict in my schedule. Can you show up for me? We say, of course we will, and we'll make sure that happens because we know time can kill deals. And we're not going to lose a house because it's our time. Their time should be more valuable than the buyer's agent's time.
Again, I have a story about that one too, because I know just last September when I had surgery and I had a deal fall through, and my buyer, she needed a house, and I was laid up with the surgery, and I remember you drove across to the other side, almost to Dallas, and you went and helped show that home, and that was you. I mean, as the broker, you went and did that. And so again, appreciate your leadership here, and appreciate your advice today for our potential buyers and sellers out there. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. There'll be some more contact information down below in the description, and we will see you next time on Real Estate Ready.